everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Friday, June 22nd, 2018. Now, what we've got going on today is the moon hanging out right here in Libra for at least the beginning part of the day, which brings our attention to relationships, working with other people, to again finding the balance in our life, which I think I talked a lot about yesterday, as well as judging some of the progress that we've made so far, seeing whether or not we like it, whether or not we don't, what we need to do differently in order to feel better, to find the balance in our lives. Okay, so that's what's going on. Now at the very end of yesterday and into today, we have this moon in Libra and a square with Pluto. What that could have brought up, some very strong, intense feelings that may not be so pretty in regards to where it is your life is going and how you work perhaps with your relationships to put your life in the right spot, okay? Could have been, especially with Pluto, especially by square, some fears and insecurities that came up about your reputation, about some big things going on in your life. Maybe it was hard for you to find the balance because of these feelings. Maybe it's also hard for you late last night to work with other people because there are so many big things looming over your head that you are worried about, but really needing to figure out how to find more or less the middle path with some of the things that are weighing on your mind and how to put them in the right perspective so that you can move forward. Also a lot as well about how you can work, communicate with the other people in your life about the things that you want, even if everything isn't quite falling into place in the way that you hoped for yet. All right, so that's what a lot of it was about yesterday and into today. Then at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, the next aspect the moon will make is that it will enter Scorpio. Okay, now moon in Scorpio is very deep, very emotional. Okay, Libra is an air sign. It's a lot in the mind, thinking things. But when the moon moves into Scorpio, we then have to get deeper. Maybe as a result of thinking about some things, trying to find the balance in Libra, we realize in order to get that balance, there are some changes that we need to make so that we can move forward. Maybe we realize as well we've got some attachments to an old way of doing things that we also need to let go of. Or maybe we realize we need to incorporate some of our relationships more deeply into our life so that we can do some of the things that we want and need, okay? So that's what starts to come in when the moon enters Scorpio. Okay, the moon doesn't really like being in Scorpio because it has to be so deep, it has to feel so deeply. But know that even that alone has its own purpose, even if it doesn't feel that great in the process. All right, so that's what we're dealing with at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, 2 hours after the moon enters Scorpio, it then will make a trine over to the sun. I do like that, with the sun now in Cancer, also in a water sign. I think there could be lots of feelings that come up about some changes in your life that you need to make in order to feel more comfortable. Cancer, more secure, Cancer, more rooted in life. Cancer. So I think that's what's coming in. Maybe as we're uncovering some deep feelings with the moon in Scorpio, we're realizing what we want and need in order to feel better in life and start to make some of the changes that we need in order to feel more rooted and more grounded. Maybe as well, if it's hitting you in a relationship way, maybe you start to have some relationships or work with some relationships in your life to go even deeper so that you can feel more stable and secure in those partnerships, and so that other people can help you have the roots and the foundation that it is that you are looking for. All right, so that does happen at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. I do like to think it's a good thing. It's trine. The moon and the sun, they have a love affair with each other. So I like to think that, yeah, it'll be positive, hopefully, around 4 p.m. for you to figure out what you want and need to feel better and how you can work with other people more deeply to accomplish that. All right, the hard part comes around the same time, actually, because at the same time the moon is in a trine with the sun, it's also going to be in an opposition here with Uranus at the very beginning degrees of Taurus. Okay, so that could definitely bring up some unexpected things around 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Unexpected things in regards to money, our finances, unexpected things in regards to our talent or our sense of stability. Maybe we're trying to change our life here so that we can feel better, feel more comfortable on the inside, and maybe because of that we're having to upset or break free from some old financial situations, some old situations that we had built that we thought were going to be stable and secure, but that now we need to upset in order to bring a different kind of, or a better kind of stability and security into our life. So there could be some of that goes on. If you yourself, again, aren't breaking free, causing the instability so that more of the stability can come, perhaps something unexpected happens to you with your finances, with your talents, maybe something unexpected shakes your confidence, that you then have to learn how to balance, how to make sense of, how to feel in a right way, in a more productive way about this unexpected thing, so that you can move forward feeling more comfortable, okay? So it's kind of interesting what's going on here. I wonder, I was like, I guess you could kind of call this a mutual reception, kind of. Maybe, right? Because the moon is what, exalted in Taurus? I might have to double check that. And Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. So I was like, usually in a mutual reception, you get two planets that are in signs that the other likes. And then because of they're in a mutual reception, they kind of work together. Because they're both like, I don't want to be in this place anyways. Like, the moon doesn't want to be in Scorpio, Uranus doesn't want to be in Taurus, and then they switch. Because the moon would rather be in Taurus, Uranus would rather be in Scorpio, where they function like more freely, much better. So there could also be that kind of situation as well that occurs. Super, super fascinating. Where maybe you start to make some changes in your life that you really, really want. I think that's more of the flavor that I'm getting from this alignment, just from thinking about it, which you just saw me do in like the past few seconds. I think that's more the flavor that I'm getting from this alignment, is we're breaking free to do more of what we want. We are upsetting things in our life to create more of that stability that's we want and need to feel comfortable, and then having to figure out how to be more confident with this change that we're making, having to figure out how to bring some of the stability in underneath some of the changes that are going on. Okay? Yeah, that's kind of interesting. For some reason, I don't mind this Scorpio moon as much maybe as other times, because I think us really getting in touch with our deep feelings, with what's really going on inside us deeply, is then helping us to create more of a life that we want, even if we have to upset some things in the moment in order to get it. And I think we actually might be better equipped with this mutual reception going on for us to build some of the stability back into our life after some of the upsets come. All right, yeah. And that's all that's going on for today. Really, the next things that are going to occur are going to happen tomorrow, very early, 1 a.m. Mountain Time. And at that time, the moon is going to move further through Scorpio, and it's going to square the nodes, which I did look it up. The moon can square the nodes. So it will come into a square with the nodes, which again will make changes. Very, very important. Making changes in your life. If you're not making changes, it will make it very important for you to go deep, to figure out what you really want and desire, to go deep with your relationships with the other people in your life, to get to the root of the matter, what's really going on with you, what's really bothering you in some way. Okay, as the moon is in a square with the nodes, 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's also at the same time going to be in a sextile with Saturn. Again, which I really like. So as you're figuring out what you need to change, what you really want deep down, what you really desire, what you want from your relationships, and maybe organizing your money as well, I think there's a chance for you to start to feel like, okay, I'm doing some things that I need to put my life in a better place. Maybe you start to feel like you're getting more of the structures back into your life. Like it's a little bit easier for you to do the responsibilities now that you've dealt with some of that other stuff, made some changes that you needed to make, so that you can move forward feeling like your life is more what you want it to be, going in the direction that you like. All right, so we've got that happening there. And then what? Do I want to go this far? Because tomorrow is kind of going to be a big day with a lot of aspects happening. But then tomorrow also at 7 a.m., the moon, as it moves further through Scorpio, is then going to square Venus and square Mars as well, which will be quite an interesting alignment here, since this is all going to be in fixed signs. So tomorrow at 7 a.m. could be a little tough, feeling like you're pulled in a bunch of different directions, trying to figure out which direction to go in. You want to do one thing, but then your heart feels another. So there could be a lot of that's coming in tomorrow, really just trying to work some of that out, that maybe I'll go more into detail with then. All right, but I think what today is really all about is just getting to the bottom of what it is that you're feeling, of what it is that you kind of want and need to feel more comfortable, and then trying your best to make some moves maneuver some things around in order for you to feel more comfortable. I think perhaps another day it might feel a little bit upsetting, but I do think today with the moon and Uranus and a mutual like this mutual aspect, I do think that a mutual reception, excuse me, I do think that you might have a better time of it today, figuring out what you want and then rearranging your finances and other things in order to achieve it without it feeling so upsetting as it could otherwise. All right, so that's what I'll leave you with there. Other stuff going on in the background. We've got Mercury. Do I want to start with Mercury? Yeah, I will, since the moon will be in Scorpio. We've got Mercury in opposition with Pluto. This could bring up lots of intense conversations, strong conversations here about what you need to feel more comfortable in life. Of course, it's been a big thing I've been talking about this reading. Strong conversations about your home and family, about your emotions, and with Pluto, what you need to change about your life, about where your life is going in order to bring more of that comfort and security in. I see that being a really big thing, especially with the moon in Scorpio, while Mercury is making an opposition to Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio. Could be a lot of intense feelings coming up from underneath the surface that you then need to talk about, communicate about, think about in the right ways with other people to negotiate or renegotiate or rearrange some things in your life in order for you to feel better. So I think that's just a big theme that I'm getting today. Figuring out what you really want to be comfortable and rearranging some things to make it happen, which may require you to have some hard conversations with yourself or maybe with other people to get to the bottom of the matter so you can figure out what's important and what you need to do next. All right, so we've got that. We also do have Venus here on the North Node, really saying you got to listen to your heart. You know, we may have a lot of things we want. We may have a lot of attachment. Sometimes Mercury, and in opposition to Pluto, can be a little forceful with your words, forceful with your thoughts, a little aggressive. Sometimes can bring anger up as well, and really needing to temper some of your anger with more love, with more of what your heart's saying, to follow your heart, that even if you have some attachments or some strong feelings to things, maybe needing to let some of that go or inform that better by what your heart is really saying to you, by what would make you happy, and kind of waiting to receive some of the insights that way. All right. With Venus in an opposition with Mars, again, that could be a little bit hard. We want to do things, I don't even know, you know, it's like, it's hard because doing things in Aquarius, I mean, Aquarius is kind of an attached sign. I think we want to feel more free. Maybe that's what we want. We want to feel more free in our life to do the things that are important to us. But I think with Mars in the South Node, we don't really know where our life is going. We don't really know what to do that will be beneficial for us, and maybe that's also what's kind of making it hard for us to do what's in our hearts. But I think really needing to be patient if things aren't falling into place quite yet and the way that you want with Mars in the South Node, which it feels like it's been for forever. Needing to be patient with that, even if you feel like things aren't quite where you want them to be yet, so that you can let your heart do the work first. Let your heart pave the way. And once your heart has paved the way, then all of the big picture stuff will start to fall into place, but not the other way around. You know, it's not like, okay, I know where my life is going. Let me get the vision first. Let me see the future crystal clear, and then I'll adjust my heart and get everything on board. That may work another time, but I think right now in the astrology, the message is get your heart right first, even if you can't see where things are going. And once your heart falls into place, once your heart understands what it wants, then the future will come into focus more clearly than it has been. All right, maybe that's what I'll say there. Venus also coming into a square with Jupiter too, so I think it's a lot of getting to the bottom of what your heart wants, getting to the bottom of what you feel, getting to the bottom of what you value, of what makes you happy, of what you need in relationships and money in order to feel better. And I think it's just like digging deep to figure out what really makes you happy. What do you really like desire? You know, forget about what you think you should desire. Forget about your responsibilities. Well, maybe not forget about them with the quincunx, like keep them in mind, but realize that there are things that are more important in life right now than responsibility, than structure, than boundaries. And that is making sure that you love the life that you're living, that you're listening to your heart, that you're creating a life in alignment with your value systems. I think that's kind of like the biggest thing. Figure out what you value first. Figure out what you need financially with Venus. Figure out what would like set your heart on fire with Venus being in Leo. and really get to the bottom of it deeply. What is that? And then once you figure all of that out, what do you need in relationships with Venus involved? And then once you figure that out, a few months down the road, unfortunately, maybe not right now, but after Mars gets out of its retrograde at the end of August, then once you've done that soul searching, once you've figured out what you value, how you can live a life more in accordance with your values, then everything else will then reveal itself to you. Everything that feels hidden to you, confusing to you, will start to come more into focus, but only after you do the heart work first. All right, so we've got that. While that's going on, we also do have the Sun in Cancer and a sextile with Uranus. So we're getting insights, perhaps again emotionally, what we need to feel more comfortable and stable and secure, but maybe these insights aren't quite what we wanted with the square to Chiron, aren't quite what we intended. Maybe we don't know how to act on these insights as a result of it. So I think that's a lot of it. It's like our heart is speaking, our heart is saying some things, but it's like we don't want to listen. Oh, my heart knows I need this. This is what I really value, but no, this is what I'm supposed to do. No, this is what I always thought my life would be like. I gotta go here. And it's like, okay, no, you don't, like, your life doesn't have to be what you always thought it would be. Like, no, you don't have to do like what you thought you needed to do to fit in with society, to fit in with everyone else. Like, no, you gotta go here to where your heart, and we're fighting it. And it's like, okay, like, come on, go in the direction your heart is calling you, even if you feel like it's taking you out of your comfort zone or not what you originally intended for your life, okay, or feels uncomfortable to do it. So we've got that there. The Sun also about to come into an opposition with Saturn, so some choices you may need to make soon, having some very serious feeling restricted. Sorry, not so much conversation related with the Sun, but again, could have some choices to make about your identity, about who you are, about who you want to be. As well, feeling restricted when it comes to who you are. Okay, and I think again, we're just trying to figure out what our heart is saying and to go in that direction, but we have all attachments to old ways of doing things, perhaps, or we had some old vision we saw our life going in that we don't want to get rid of. And I really do think we may have to make a decision here to break with old responsibilities, to break with an old vision so that we can start to do more of what our heart is telling us to do. Okay, and we may have to, with Mercury in opposition with Pluto, renegotiate some things about our life, about our career, about our reputation, about where we thought our life was going, so that we can actually do the things that we know our heart wants and needs to feel better, to feel more comfortable. Okay, to feel like we're living a life that more uniquely suits us. All right, and then the last thing I'll mention, do I want to mention that? I already kind of mentioned it. The quincunx from Venus in the North Node to Saturn. It really is all about, maybe this will tie it all together, not just about, I know I've talked a lot about following your heart. I think that's the thing, and I do want to encourage you, like, that's the message. You have to do what your heart is saying, and you have to let go of some old things that you thought you wanted for your life. Old structures, old things society wanted. You have to do what your heart wants, but you have to find a way, once you figure out what your heart wants, to bring it all together, to create a career, to create a reputation off of what your heart truly is saying and speaking to you, and to go there in that way. All right. It's not just about doing what you love. I know that's kind of like a huge message that I've mentioned this whole time. It's not just about doing what you love, even though I think you need to listen to your heart. But once you get that, once you figure out what your heart wants, what your heart is saying, it's really trying to figure out how you can maneuver that in your own unique way that no one else can do except you, especially with Uranus and Taurus, with this quincunx. You have to figure out how to maneuver what you feel is uniquely you, what your heart is really saying, into a life that can last, into a career, into a reputation. You have to take all the things your heart is saying and like pull it into existence, to put all the structures in place that you need to support what your heart is now calling you to do. All right, I'll just leave it there and hope that helps and didn't confuse you. It's definitely, it could be a little bit of a frustrating time for those of us, especially those of us who have strong Mars in our charts. It could be a hard time because we want to do, but really all about patience, listening to your spirit, listening to your heart, and then taking and holding on to the things that your heart says and figuring out how to build the structures and to support that once you figure out what your heart is saying, even if the long-term picture is still not quite clear. okay, and needing to provide the space and the structures in your life, perhaps to uncover your true heart's desire, to clear up the confusion, to wipe the window of your soul so that you can see what you really feel and desire. All right, your card is the Magician reversed. To me, this card is a card that appears when you have talent. The Magician is upright. You have things that you're good at. You have things that you like, but you just don't know how to use them. How to use everything at your disposal. Maybe your heart is telling you some things with this. Maybe you are getting messages from God, from a higher power, from a higher source, especially with the Magician. But maybe when this card is reversed, you don't want to listen to those messages. You don't want to listen to what your heart is saying for whatever reason. You know, maybe you don't like it. So maybe you never thought again your life would be that. Maybe it's scary. And I think this card is saying you have to figure out to take everything that you have at your disposal, who you are, what you think you're good at, everything that you have, and you have to figure out how to use that in service of your life path, in service of your calling, you know? I mean, maybe that's what it is. We're all like getting our callings, like finding our callings, like our heart is calling us to go in a certain direction, you know, that I think is really divine, especially with all of this water energy. And it's just like, I can't go in that direction. I can't. Or if I go in that direction, how do I go in that, you know? This card to me is a lot about aligning with as above, so below. The Magician is like on a candle. He's like pointing upwards at the sky, and he's got tools down below him that he can use in alignment with his higher purpose. And so I feel like there's a disconnect here between what our purpose is in life and where we are right now and what we feel like we have and what we feel like is practical for us. And I think it's really all about trying to use your talents, trying to use everything that you have at your disposal in service of like a greater good or a higher calling that we're all being called to right now. And you got to figure out how to make it work. It's not like, oh, I can never make my calling happen. Like I can never do that thing my heart wants, so I'm going to ignore it. You know, it's not like that. And it's not like, oh, well, these are the only talents that I have. So because these are the only talents that I have and this is what I want and they don't align, like I can't. It's like, no, you have to find a way to use everything that you have at your disposal in order to reach your calling. If you feel called in a certain direction, like I believe that we have feelings. We feel called because they're meant for us. You know, like I'm not going to feel called to something that I can't learn from, that can't teach me, that I feel like isn't for me. So if there's something on your heart right now that's like tugging at you, it's speaking to you for a reason. It's because in some way, shape or form, it's meant for you to teach you something, to help you evolve to the next stage of your life, to learn to be happier, whatever. And I think it's time to honor those promptings and try your best to create a life in accordance and to use everything you have at your disposal in order to make that happen. All right. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.